Hello and welcome to the Two Ace Podcast, the podcast designed to help you manifest your Two Ace mindset. My name is Josh Brooks and my one focus is success through the art of discipline and flow. I hope you enjoy the episode. Now let's get right into it. Just before I get into the episode, guys, make sure to follow, rate, and share the podcast about. Let's make this the best mindset podcast out there. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or whatever time of day it is that you are joining me. I hope you're having a good one. And today I'm going to be talking about introspection. Now, previously on other episodes, you may have heard me refer to what I'm going to be talking about as introspection as internalization. Now, I realised that I got muddled up here and I've been using internalization as the term to describe what I mean as introspection. Now, just to clarify, internalization is the deepest level of conformity where a person changes both their public behaviour and their private beliefs. So in a way, it's similar to introspection, but introspection, which is what I have been meaning to say and what I mean to get across, is what I'm going to be talking about today. So introspection is the process of self-analysis and self-reflection. Now, through introspection, it's you'll be able to develop morals that are suited to you, and you can understand and accept who you are as a person. Now, introspection requires honesty. It requires asking yourself the necessary questions and giving the appropriate response. Now, only you know if you're lying to yourself, and even if you give the wrong answer or you lie to yourself, then through introspection, you understand what you need to change. If you ask yourself something and you lie, then you know that lying and deception, deceiving yourself is your biggest issue right now. And that's where you can start. Honesty is the best policy, as always. So introspection, it gives an understanding of yourself and gives a greater sense of self-awareness, really, and being able to fully analyze yourself, the ups and the downs, and get really nitty-gritty with what you are and who you are is really important. So you're able to establish your strengths and weaknesses. You're able to understand, if you practice introspection in the evening, for example, if you're journaling, and that's when you designate your time, and you say, right, okay, I'm going to journal, and this is my time for introspection. You can, like I said in the journal episode, you can write down all the tasks that you did in the day, and you can see what good habits and what bad habits are repeating. Now, through this, you'll be able to establish your strengths. You'll be able to be like, right, okay, so I'm actually really good at getting to bed for a certain time, but my weaknesses is that I oversleep or undersleep. I'm not able to get that 8 hours sleep. Even if I go to bed early, even if I go to bed late, I always oversleep. I'm not able to wake up at the exact day, and some people might be morning people, some people might be evening people. You might be able to wake up out of bed and be like, woohoo, let's go. Or you might be late at night and you might be really active, and that's when you're really able to study. You're able to establish this. You're able to establish your strengths and your weaknesses. And through introspection, it provides a more authentic view upon who you are. And, you're, like I said, you're able to really dive into who you are through introspection. Now, you might wonder, how did you go about introspection if you've never done it before? So that is kind of a tricky one, because, it takes practice, really. You can't just, from never looking in the mirror and asking yourself questions to doing it, it kind of seems a bit weird. But you don't have to look at yourself in the mirror. Sometimes it's good, like in the morning, you might look yourself in the mirror and be like, right, okay, hello, what are we doing today? Let's go. Say these affirmations to yourself and prepare for the day. And you got to remind yourself of who you are, what you are, and why and how you're going to do it. Got to make sure you're aligned and that that today is just another day and you've still got to keep going. Introspection, I honestly think it's so important. It's about being honest with yourself, self-analysis. I have this acronym, it's called IPA. So it stands for introspection, analysis, planning, execution, repeat. And by that, it's quite self-explanatory, really. It's just like eat, sleep, rave, repeat, yeah? So introspection, analysis, that's the first part. So that's where the self-reflection happens. That's where you're like, right, okay, what's going on? Who am I? What am I? What am I doing? All these questions, ask yourself, what am I doing right now? What are the main decisions? What are the key decisions that have led me to this very moment? And what decisions can I make in this very moment to lead to where I want to go, or at least in the direction of what or at least not in the direction of where you don't want to go. The anti-vision. Anti-vision is important. If you don't know where you want to go, think about where you don't want to go and do everything you can to go in the opposite direction to that. So introspection, analysis, planning. Now this is where you've got your goal or you've got your anti-vision and you figure out what you need to do or what you don't need to do, and you break it down. I've talked about this before. You talk to yourself or write on a piece of paper and you figure it out, or on a whiteboard or wherever, you figure it out. You put it on your phone, whatever, doesn't matter. You write it down. You've got your goal, and then you're like, right, okay, so this is a yearly goal. I've got to do this in 365 days. What do I need to do in each month, each week, each day? Planning. And then you've done introspection, analysis. And so you figured out what's going on. Planning. You figured out what you need to do. And then execution. That's when you do it. That's the bit where you do it. So then you've got your plan and you just do the things each day. So that's what you have to do. You just execute the plan. And then repeat. And just repeat. Sometimes you might not need to introspection analysis for another year, but I would recommend doing it most days, to be honest. Just make sure you're aligned with what's going on, make sure you're aligned with what you've just planned out. And introspection analysis, it's so important. Remember the phrase IPA: introspection, analysis, planning, execution, repeat. And that'll help. It's helped me. So I hope it helps anyone that is willing to give it a go. And yeah. And with that, thank you for your time. Thank you for this opportunity. Remain consistent. Achieve dreams. I've been your host, Josh. 2 Ace. 1 Focus.